We're now live on YouTube. Welcome anyone that may be in the YouTube audience. We're starting with some teachings on Vedana, which is usually or most often I've seen translated as feeling, feeling tone, so sensation. And I don't have to explain too much. We'll just start with the sutta exploration. But first, we can start with the Namo Tassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham Dhammam Sangham Namasami. So I am going to share screen now. So I'm going to just pretty much read through these first two suttas. Okay, I'm just checking something here.
There.
All right.
Can pin you. Pin the.
So pin for the share screen.
Or pin you, or did you want it on?
I wanted to pin the share screen.
There.
So I need to share again?
Nope,
Is that what
you were
happened?
sharing. I was checking it. I can see it.
Oh, okay, great. So how do I pin that? Just this one?
Just, what do you mean? Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay,
Technology. Oh,
there we go. So then, but you can still see the share.
yep.
Great. All right. So here we have it. This first sutta, I'm just going to read through, and it's called Immersion. It's really lovely. It starts this in the Samyutta Nikaya. Welcome, Anne. There is, we just started. So in the Samyutta Nikaya, there is a section, connected discourses on Vedana, the Vedana Samyutta. And this Vedana is very important because um, it's a it appears in a lot of different lists, and one of the lists is the five khandhas. So what we consider as as self, as our feelings, as part of the component of what we think of as self. So either pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feelings, and our identity gets wrapped up in on our perception of that. It's all interrelated, perception, feelings, consciousness. So this is the start of the exploration of feelings in the connected discourses on feelings. Mendicants, there are these three feelings. What three? Pleasant, painful, and neutral feeling. And so this is adukam asukam is neutral, and that's neutral, neither unpleasant nor pleasant, neither comfortable or uncomfortable. these are the three feelings. Stilled, aware, a mindful disciple of the Buddha understands feelings, the cause of feelings, where they cease, and the path that leads to their ending. With the ending of feelings, a mendicant is hungerless and quenched. So this is a pretty deep dive into feelings to start with. So we're going to just continue on and get to explore that path, what it actually means. So this is the second discourse in the connected discourse of the feelings. If you want to look it up yourself, you go to SN 36.2. And then there's a repetition that's common in the suttas. Mendicants, there are these three feelings. What three? Painful, pleasant, painful, pleasant, and neutral feeling. These are the three feelings. Whatever is felt internally and externally, whether pleasure or pain, as well as what's neutral. Having known this as suffering, deceptive, falling apart, one sees them vanish as they're experienced again and again. That's how to be free of desire for them. So really contemplating the impermanence of feeling is one way to let go of what arises from feeling. And this is also the attachment to feeling. We get to the third sutta, which we're going to actually focus on more. So I think we'll just switch to the document at this point because I do have this here. This is Bhikkhu Bodhi's. Excuse me. We'll just go with, this is Bhante Sujato's translation. And the first two I read were also Bhante Sujato's translations of this. Mendicants, there are these three feelings. What three? Pleasant, painful, and neutral feeling. The underlying tendency to greed should be given up when it comes to pleasant feeling. The underlying tendency to repulsion should be given up when it comes to painful feeling. The underlying tendency to ignorance should be given up when it comes to neutral feeling. When a mendicant has given up these underlying tendencies, they're called a mendicant without underlying tendencies, who sees rightly, has cut off craving, untied the fetters, and by rightly comprehending conceit, has made an end of suffering. Here's the verse. When you feel pleasure without understanding feeling, the underlying tendency to greed is there. If you don't see the escape, when you feel pain without understanding feeling, the underlying tendency to repulsion is there. If you don't see the escape. As for the peaceful, neutral feeling, he, she, they of vast wisdom has taught, he of vast wisdom would be the Buddha, has taught that if you relish it, you're still not released from suffering. But when a mendicant is keen not neglecting situational awareness. That's that's sampajanya. That astute person understands all feeling, completely understanding feeling. They're without defilements in this very life. That knowing master is firm in principle. When their body breaks up, they can't be reckoned. So that means they're an arahant. So, what's important about this particular sutta is about it's a discussion about the underlying tendencies and how pleasant feeling has the underlying tendency to greed. That's raga nusai sayo. So the underlying tendency, I've also heard latent tendencies, and it may be in Bhante and Nalio.
It sounds
It
familiar. Yeah.
uses that. It seems like both Bhante Bodhi and Bhante Análio both say underlying tendency, but you'll also hear latent tendency. That's the same. It could be also Ajahn Tanisaro, I don't know. But it's just here's the anusayas. So here they're talking about the three kind of root anusayas. There's seven anusayas listed elsewhere. But these three spring from directly from feeling, and then they may be giving rise to other anusayas. Very quickly, this whole process happens. So here we have raga, and it's a compound word, raga nusayo. And this is raga plus anusaya. And this is interesting. It says sleeping alongside.
I like dormant disposition.
Dormant disposition.
So there's a disposition and it's just not rising up to the surface at the moment.
So it's underlying, it's latent, it's dormant.
Or a propensity to.
Yeah, um so so if we don't see the escape, so if we understand this whole process and let go, usually when they talk about the escape, that's just abandoning the cause. So looking at the cause. So the feeling comes up whenever there's contact. And feeling comes up whenever there's contact. And but then how we respond to it, we have some influence over that. And being aware of what's arising, being aware that this is a pleasant feeling or a painful feeling or a neutral feeling, and then seeing what's arising. It all happens so quickly, but we can trace back. Sometimes that's what it takes is just going, oh, suddenly I have this strong desire for French fries. But have you ever driven along the road and had a hot day and the windows are open and the cooking aromas from the restaurant is coming out? And I always think that they pipe out the smell of French fries or something like that sometimes, just so you get the sense of, ah, pleasant aroma at the nose door. And then you're not even thinking about it. And you think, oh, maybe I should pull in and get some French fries. It can happen that way. So we bring our awareness to that and see also we can start understanding where our predominant tendencies are. So I think that I have predominantly an aversive tendency. That would be the patiga. See, the patiga is here. Patiga, underlying tendency to aversion. So I'd be the person that walks in the room and see a picture, a portrait or something on hanging on the wall, and I would notice that it was crooked or the frame doesn't quite match the picture, it's like something's wrong with it. It always somebody else would come in and say, "Oh, that's such a beautiful picture. How can I get one like that?" That would be the greed type. And the delusion type wouldn't even notice it.
Sure.
Oh, right.
There was a picture?
That would be the greed type.
No,
I mean, the delusion
yeah,
type,
yeah.
the delusion type. They wouldn't even be aware of it. So we can start. The hardest one is to notice if you're the delusion type. So I'm going to go now to, this is Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation of that sutta. And unless someone does anyone have a question at this point? I'll take that as a no. All right. So, bhikkhus, there are these three feelings. What three? Pleasant feeling, painful feeling, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. The underlying tendency to lust should be abandoned in regard to pleasant feeling. The underlying tendency to aversion should be abandoned in regard to painful feeling. The underlying tendency to ignorance should be abandoned in regard to neither painful nor pleasant feeling. When a bhikkhu has abandoned the underlying tendency to lust in regard to pleasant feeling, the underlying tendency to aversion in regard to painful feeling, and the underlying tendency to ignorance in regard to neither painful nor pleasant feeling, then she, who could say bhikkhuni, is a bhikkhuni, a bhikkhu, or a lay disciple without underlying tendencies, one who sees rightly they have cut off craving, severed the fetters, and by completely breaking through conceit, has made an end to suffering. When one experiences pleasure, if one does not understand feeling, the tendency to lust, this is the raga nusaya, is present. For one not seeing the escape from it, when one experiences pain, if one does not understand feeling, the tendency to aversion is present. That's the patiga anusaya. For one not seeing the escape from it, it's present for the one who's not seeing the escape from it. The one of broad wisdom has taught with reference to that peaceful feeling, neither painful nor pleasant. If one seeks delight even in this, one is still not released from suffering. So this is craving for states of blissful states in meditation. So we shouldn't even have craving for that. It's not that we shouldn't be experiencing it, but actually the craving will stand in if we've had the experience and then we start craving it, then it'll block us from further having the experience. So this is like just really letting go of attachment So this is a cue here too. What the source for of dukkha is this craving. Ah, so if one seeks delight even in this, one is still not released from suffering. But when a bhikkhu who is ardent does not neglect clear comprehension, that's what Bhante Sujato translates as situational awareness, sampajanya, then that wise person fully understands feeling in their entirety. Having fully understood feelings, they are taintless in this very life. Standing in Dhamma with the body's breakup, the knowledge master cannot be reckoned. So this one has become an arahant. So here I have again, this is raga nusaya, and the underlying tendency towards desire. This desire or lust. Raga is a passion also. And to be free from raga is viraga. It's fading away, the ending of passion or desire. Yeah, just this again, I've just pulled this out. So I have an extract from two other suttas that are related, and I'm wondering if at this time there are questions. No questions or comments so far. Okay, so we'll just, Anne is,
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understood what conceit meant in this. Does it mean to believe in a self in this situation, in this sutta?
would you please repeat that because my volume was down,
Oh,
I couldn't hear you.
okay. The meaning of conceit is that meaning in this sutta, believing in a self, or because I know there are several meanings for conceit.
Well, there's the conceit of I am. So this is attachment to the self. Definitely. I am
Yeah.
this, I am that. Yeah, so it's a concept of self, certainly. It's not like it's not even I am greater or I'm the best in the world or something like that, or I have beautiful hair or something
Yeah.
like that. No, it's so it can be either conceit. Um, Technically, it's either I am
Let's see if I am.
superior, I am inferior, or I am equal to, but it's a concept of I am something. So and there's this comparison.
I
That's
see.
that's one way of looking at conceit, but it's tied up in I am, the conceit of I am. I am whatever.
I see.
So this I, the yo, if you're Spanish speaking,
Yeah.
that's what they say. Yo, el yo, the
No,
yo, the I, the self. Yes.
great.
So,
Thank you.
okay. So, and we'll touch on that again. It'll come up. So we're still on screen share. Okay. So here, was it last week we looked at this?
Yeah.
Okay. The Achula Vedala Sutta. That was sometimes, I think Bhikkhu Bodhi translates it as the shorter discourse on questions or something. There's a series of questions, so it says the shorter classification is how, this is Bhante Sujato's translation. Excuse me, Bhante, just tucking your name in there. Okay. So, This is an extract. This is like, it's interesting because this is really towards the end of the sutta, and there's been this whole discussion, very deep discussion on different states of consciousness, from the mundane all the way to the 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 neither pleasant, no, the cessation of feeling and perception, the state of the cessation of feeling and perception. And from that, this is who is the questioner? That's
Visakha.
Visakha. Oh, right. Visakha is asking
Dhammadina.
Dhammadina Bhikkhuni all these questions. And then after talking about all these exalted, first mundane, then exalted states, all the way up to the cessation of feeling and perception, he asks her about Vedana. Seems like out of the blue, although we're just discussing the feeling, cessation of feeling and perception. But this is how the sutta unfolds. But this is a really wonderful discussion on Vedana, and there wasn't time last
Yeah,
week really to go in depth. But Visakha asks Venerable Dhammadina, what is Vedana? What is feeling? And then she replies, anything felt physically or mentally as pleasant or enjoyable. Well, it's physically is at all the five physical senses, the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and mentally is the mind. And somehow that's understood in this discussion. But if you look at any other discussion on Vedana, they will discuss all six sense gates, which includes the mind. So, anything pleasant and enjoyable at any of the six sense gates. I'm going to say it that way. I'm going to just rephrase it. This is pleasant feeling. Anything felt physically at any of the physical sense, five senses, mentally as painful or unpleasant. This is painful feeling. Anything felt physically or mentally as neither pleasurable nor painful. This is neutral feeling. I hope the Pali isn't too confusing for the reading. This is,
Do you want me to clean it up for you?
I'll just leave it for like this for now. What is pleasant? And then this is Vaisakha's question. What is pleasant and what is painful regarding each of these three feelings? So that's an interesting question. You just think, okay, anything that we experience that's painful is unpleasant. Wait, and anything that's, you'd think, oh, just you'd stop there, right? But he's asking, what is pleasant and what is painful regarding each of these three feelings? And pleasant feeling is pleasant when it remains, and painful when it perishes. So we've all experienced this. I remember as a child, I'd be eating my ice cream and really enjoying it, and then I'd be down at the end of the bowl and I'd just go, oh. And I couldn't have any more because I only had got my portion of this. My mother was very strict. And I only got my portion of ice cream. So then then it was painful because I couldn't have any more. And now if my mother wasn't strict or I was sneaky and she was out, I would raid the refrigerator and ate as much ice cream as I wanted to. Then what would happen?
Unpleasant Vedana.
At the body door,
The belly door.
the pleasant moodiness at the tongue door, and then it would change to unpleasant at the body door. Okay. So painful feeling is painful when it remains, and pleasant when it perishes. And that's pretty, yeah. Most of us now reach for the Tylenol or the ibuprofen or something whenever we have any kind of aches or pains.
Oh, I notice it with, having kind of an ongoing back issue of pain. And then I say, I'm going to go lie down. And I go lie down and, within just a short time of moving the pelvis a little bit and then soften and just let the pad under me hold me. Yeah, it shifts from painful to pleasant just so quickly.
And then it's also like an,
Yeah, there's
what a
there's
relief.
a mental relief that happens too.
Yeah, so this is the thing about Vedana is that the Buddha talks about this in other suttas, but we're always running away from pain and running towards pleasure. If we're not aware of it, this is a human tendency and it just drives people.
And if I lie there for a while, then it becomes kind of a neutral sensation because I'm no longer like focused on the absence of the painful or that it was pleasant to stop the painful. It becomes neutral, and that's the point at which my mind becomes more distracted, less aware of the Vedana tone, unless I'm really paying attention as a meditation with it. It's easy to just forget.
That's a really important point. And it's coming right under painful. And did we talk about neutral? You were talking about neutral already.
I was.
Okay. Neutral feeling is pleasant in the presence of knowledge and painful in the presence of ignorance. So this is very interesting because we'll start with the painful in the presence of ignorance. So most of us just kind of block out, like I was saying, the not non-awareness, like not seeing the picture on the wall, or not after you've relaxed and felt okay, then you don't think about it anymore. And what happens is that in neutral in ignorance can be boredom. And so then we're seeking something else. So you got that initial release of, oh, I'm feeling better, resting. And then you want something else, a cookie, a book to read, a movie or something like that. So then there's that, because we're not getting stimulated. We seek stimulation. So yeah, or the feeling fades, like when you're eating, sometimes, well, there's something that there's studies showing how people, when they're eating, they have a plate of food with different things on, and they'll get the initial taste, and then that initial taste starts losing its excitement, and it becomes more neutral. And then you eat something else on the plate. And then you eat something else on the plate and get different taste here, there, here, there. Or if you had the most delicious ice cream in the world that for yourself, available for you every day of the week, any time of the day, then it would, after how long would it take for you to get bored with it? And so then that becomes a neutral feeling. And this is actually kind of painful because then you're going to seek something else. Well, you know, they must not be making it with the right ingredients anymore or something. You know, it was my favorite ice cream or what. Please don't bring us ice cream. I'm just using this as an example. But anyway, so then you seek something else. Or is this is why people have affairs? I mean, sadly, this is, you know, because that person was exciting and all this and this, and then they lose you lose that initial excitement, and then it becomes neutral, a neutral feeling. This is just kind of normal. And then you seek somebody else. And there's that excitement again for only so long. So anyway, this is the painfulness of the neutral feeling. What and there's also just all three uh uh types of Vedana or dukkha. So, but pleasant in the presence of knowledge. So initially it's that, like Annika was saying, bringing awareness to that. This is bringing understanding. What you're worrying, oh, now instead of feeling great relief, it's neutral. Oh, now I'm starting to just forget about it.
Or I don't really notice I'm forgetting about it. I just realize, oh, now I've been thinking for a while. Oh, hey, my back, I'm not getting a whole lot of sensation from there. But it's this forgotten, especially if I'm lying down and thinking I'm going to do some lying down meditation. It's the point at which, where I've been doing body scan, I've gotten off track.
So there's the dukkha, because you're seeking mental stimulation.
Yep. Yep.
And it's hard to stay just with neutral feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the trick. If we can stay with that, the neutral feeling, and letting go of that seeking, what we're doing is letting go of craving for any kind of contact. And then, so then this is when, if we're just staying with the breath or metta bhavana or something, and there's a pleasant feeling that comes from, there's a pleasure that comes from non-attachment to the five, at least the five physical senses. And then that's what the Buddha was saying. If you're even attached to that, that that blissful feeling that's not associated with the senses, then you can't go further on the path. So we're moving along here. We're probably only going to get through the second. I had two other extracts, but probably can stop there and we can come back to the other one later. What underlying tendencies underlie each of the three feelings? The underlying tendency for greed underlies the pleasant feeling. The underlying tendency for repulsion underlies the painful feeling. The underlying tendency for ignorance underlies the neutral feeling. So we're touching on that already. So here we have the raga, nusaya, and this is dukkha, suffering. And this is, oh, so sukhaya is the happy, vedana, or pleasant, and raga is the desire, the tendency for greed or desire or lust, however someone translates it. And patiga anusaya, anusati, that's that gives rise to. And then there's adukam, asukam, vedana, avijja, nusaya. So those are the three root ones. There's 7 anusayas listed elsewhere. We might have time at least to see those. Do these underlying tendencies always underlie these feelings? No, they do not. Oops. And then they go on from there immediately to what should be given up. So they don't go into they don't always underlie. So for someone who is working with these anusayas, bringing awareness to them arising, you can actually, if you get to a point where you're aware of all 3 of them, especially ignorance, and then you're abandoning them, then they're not, well, in order for them to not be an underlying tendency, you have to be an arahant, actually. But you can reduce their impact. You can reduce, if you're bringing awareness to them, the more you bring awareness to them, this is the key, is to bring awareness to what's arising and not, and then this is actually, this is guarding the sense gates. This is Indriya Samvara. So I see something, I'm aware of the pleasant feeling, and then I might see the desire for that, whatever it is, come up in my mind. But I abandon that quickly. We'll get into this actually. But I think this is what when she says, no, they do not, that's all she says. And he doesn't ask further.
Well, I have a feeling that, I mean, in some ways the commentary says he's asking these questions because he's trying to see, has she attained something or did she kind of flunk out and she's kind of coming back because she's flunked out? And so he asks this question and she answers it definitively, no, there is not. Like, I know there is not. What she's just done is says, I'm an arahant.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you. That's a good point. Like, yeah, it is kind of like, no, there is not. End of topic there. Go on to the next one.
Well, because I think she really understands what he's getting at. Why is he asking these questions?
Or she just knows it.
And she does.
Well,
just knows it.
she's answering his question, and he's the one with the question. So
Right.
she doesn't elaborate on it because he hasn't asked it.
Yep.
But he's gotten an answer, a
Mhm.
particular answer. Thank you. That's why that was asked. Okay, according to the commentaries, and that makes a lot of sense. Oh, so here we are. What should be given up in regard to each of these 3 feelings? The underlying tendency for greed. The underlying tendency for greed underlies pleasant feeling. The underlying tendency for repulsion underlies painful feeling. The underlying tendency for ignorance underlies neutral feeling. And that's what should be given up. But somehow I didn't get this in that. I just ellipsed it. This is what should be given up. These underlying tendencies should be abandoned. So the way, like I was saying, to work with them is bringing your awareness to them and seeing how they arise in relationship to Vedana. And Vedana, you can also contact. So anusati is, I've got these, I've already shown those. So of a person has a tendency towards, is preoccupied with. So this is what I was saying, you can see in yourself what your tendency is towards, especially with greed and aversion. These two are really obvious. But you it might be pointed out, or you might be have practiced long enough to go. Some people do say, "Oh, I'm in a delusion type," but the more you are aware, bring your awareness to that, it weakens that tendency. And also, when I was working with, really working with the underlying tendency towards aversion, and the aversion was lessening, I noticed the greed. So it wasn't like the greed was there, but then the greed started to be more evident. It was like the desire, desire, I could say. Every, so it's not like I'm entirely until arahantship. We they're weakened. Oh, actually at they're weakened, and desire for the sensual realm at anagami has been obliterated, but the patika is still there, but weakened. Yeah, we're not acting on it, but we still have a person. I'm not saying we, including myself, but a person who's an anagami will have some degree of aversive experience. And this is a difference experiencing as something as unpleasant and reacting. That's another thing to be aware of. Because I could be like it's cold and freezing outside, and that's unpleasant. So I would experience that as unpleasant and maybe be somewhat averse to it, and then to get a jacket or come inside or something. So the Anagami isn't going to neglect their body. I think the Arhat too is also they're attentive to the Vedana, and oh, it'd probably be a good idea to put on a jacket or get in the shade if it's too hot or something.
The Buddha would go rest his back.
Yep,
Mhm.
the Buddha would rest his back, feeling a painful feeling of the body. So we do have a little bit of time here. Should we open up for questioners or look at the 7 Anusayas quickly? Does anyone have a comment or question? I could end the screen share.
Anne's got a
Oh,
question.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm going to end the screen share
oh,
here.
okay.
And
I just had a question. I don't think I really understand underlying tendency for ignorance. I know you talked about it quite a bit there, but I lost it somewhere. I mean, if you have a neutral feeling, how do you know? You just become more mindful, more aware of your delusions, deluded.
well, just being aware of neutral feeling in general, I think bringing awareness to all three.
Mhm.
And yeah, so because if the air temperature is very comfortable, it's not too hot, not too cold, it's kind of neutral, maybe
Neutral.
neutral. It's, I wouldn't notice the air temperature being um, just the right temperature unless I had just gotten in from being in the heat or the cold, and then it would be pleasant. But like I was saying, after a while we forget about it. It's like, oh, this is so wonderful, then we forget about it.
Mhm.
Then it's like, okay, then it was wonderful. half an hour later, I'm not even aware of it because this is
Mhm.
just the right temperature. And so
Your mind jumps to something else.
the mind jumps to something else. So bringing attention back to oh, right, I had that experience that it was wonderful. Now it's, how is it now?
Okay.
And then, yeah, so uh, anywhere you can, there's a lot of things like just the touch of the cloth, like your clothing you're wearing, you've been wearing it for so many hours and you're not even paying attention to it. It can be like I can bring my attention to it. Oh, it's kind of pleasant cloth against my skin. Uh, but anyway, if you're scanning your body this by touch, you can sense. You can just think. Actually, I think this is a Goenka technique, and they scan
Oh.
their top from the top of their head down and
Mhm.
looking for Vedana. Okay, my shoulder is a little bit painful. That's unpleasant, you know,
Yeah.
something like that. And you know, that I can bring my awareness to the glasses on my face, feeling the weight of the glasses. And right now, it's pretty neutral. It can get painful, you
Mhm.
know. I don't pay attention to the fact I have glasses until they're painful or they're smudged or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, or wherever it is, this is touch. But you know, when you're eating, you could say, well, you know, this is eating, unless you put a lot of embellishments on oatmeal or something, it's pretty neutral, bland.
Yeah.
And that's actually people are averse to tastes that aren't exciting. But say, I mean, this is the modern world. So, and because of what do you call it? Commerce,
Oh.
we're generally eating food that's we're going from one kind of food to another to another. So you might notice when that taste is like, I'm not interested in this taste anymore. It's not that it's bad. You're just bored with it. And this has become neutral.
Okay. Great. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So you can start working with those kind of things and what you don't notice in your room, you know, the walls or something, that's pretty neutral contact at the eyes.
Okay.
It's generally not for the, speaking as a historically delusional type, I did not come to see ignorance by my own experimentation until I was prodded by my monastic companions.
Oh,
So it was my companions who would say, you're seeing's a little messed up there, or that doesn't make any sense, or and I'd cock my head and I'd look at him and then I'd think about it, I'd think and I go, oh,
oh, that's great. You have
so
Kalyanamita.
Kalyanamita, I think, is a very good antidote for ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can work on
wonderful.
it yourself
You
by
do,
just
yeah, but
exploring neutral. Yeah, but
Yeah.
certainly what you're saying. Certainly.
for me, I needed that helping hand to even like point me to, hey, there is a rope here on this trail, and if you hold on to it, you can follow it.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. That's really wonderful. Thank you so much.
So Kamo, you can unmute yourself. You have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you, Ayaz. Um, is the ignorance also pointing to ignorance of anicca, dukkha, anatta, always, I think, too, right? Which is under everything.
Right view.
Yes.
I mean, which is quite a lot to learn, to understand. But I think it points to that also, because it goes hand in hand with this teaching today, ignorance. you have to have ignorance of not self in order to feed craving. It wants to feed itself. And if you don't know, anyway, this is this self is under all of it. Wanting it, I think there's a book called No Self, No Problem. I love that title. The self is the one who has all the problems.
Yeah,
You
who's
know,
that by? I don't remember.
who what?
Who wrote that?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't think
I
I
remember that title
actually,
too, but
I
I
don't
don't,
remember.
yeah, that's,
Yeah, but
yeah. So definitely with Vedana to bring attention to the ever changing, it was one of the first or second sutta was talking about that, how they're always rising and passing. And the passing away of the pleasant feeling gives rise to dukkha. And but also the other two are dukkha. And so this is another characteristic we can look at, how all of three of them are dukkha. Even even the most wonderful, pleasant feeling, not that even just that it's an impermanent, that it's just not it. And that's why we keep wanting something different and more. And that's why it becomes neutral after a while. It's like, but yeah, and the point of non-self, seeing, yeah, just to satisfy and to please the self, perpetuate the self. So you got the
That's I mean, there's also a more recent one out from a neuroscientist, but this is the classic.
classic no self,
Uh,
no problem, and it's
Anam
anum tubten
Tupten.
tubten. I'm sorry, this is from the
So
Nyingma tradition, and somebody from the Nyingma tradition has written that. So no problem. I've heard people say that, no self, no problem, but I know there's a book out too. So we have a few minutes. I could just show you the seven, not the deadly seven or the,
yeah, that's what I was joking yesterday. Oh, we're going to talk about the 7 deadly sins. No,
okay.
7.
So I'm going to show very quickly and then we can close. And maybe we'll come back to, should we just come back to it? I don't know.
Could do.
Huh?
Could.
Let me just show.
Okay.
Please show it. Please show it. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Lift the veils of ignorance for us, IA.
Okay, here it is. You see it? Okay. So you looked at this Madhupindika Sutta, the honey cake or honey ball. And I'll just show you these seven. But the Buddha has just been encountered Dandapani, and then a certain bhikkhu asks him about what were the judgments driven by proliferation, perceptions beset a person if they don't find anything worth approving, welcoming, or getting attached to in this to the source from which these arise. This is how you abandon that, is to not crave, not want, not welcome, not being attached to their source.
But the list is up higher.
No, it's here.
Oh, I see. I see.
Oh.
I just have a different zoom on it. Got it.
Okay. Just this is the end of the underlying tendency to desire. So that's the first one. Repulsion. This is raga nusaya. And this is patiga nusaya, repulsion. Views, ditthi, doubt is vichikicha. And here we have conceit again. That's mana. And the desire to be reborn, that's bhava raga, I believe. And ignorance, our old friend here. So we have kind of like framing all the other the four other ones, these three: desire, repulsion, and ignorance. And there's views, doubts, conceit, and desire to be reborn. So that's the deadly seven. No, the seven anusayas, and you'll see these elsewhere, but this is this is an easy way to find those seven. See, I have it here, the Pali. Raga Nusaya, Patiga Nusaya, Diti Nusaya, Vichikicha Nusaya, Mana Nusaya, and Bhava Raga. Yeah, Bhava Raga Nusaya. And this is the end of taking up broad and sword, the end of quarrels, arguments, and disputes, of accusations, divisive speech, and lies.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
So yeah, I think if we work on the first, the three root ones, but we also, the thing is, these are more subtle, even more subtle. Well, ignorance is probably, depending on the depth of our ignorance. Not seeing the rope on the trail, that's one thing, but the depth of ignorance with views, doubt, conceit, and desire to be reborn. So these are the more subtle forms of the anusayas. And that all this takes time to see it. But speaking of time, this is all we have time for. So I'm going to end the screen share again. Wait, do that.
Red at the top. They do move them around. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so we can come back to this. I'm going to be speaking about Vedana, so we can get into more detail with the that extract from the Honeyball Sutta and the seven Anusayas and working with those. So we can close with the homage if you care. If you have a Buddha image in your home or would like to bow to the one on the screen here, you're welcome to join us. Not mandatory. Araham Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sangha Sangho Sangham Namami. Thank you all for joining us. And if you'd like to stay on for a chat afterwards, we're going to close the live